All right, so I'm trying to add up our guest to the program. Like I said, he's a life coach. He is a trainer, a consultant, a business consultant, and an entrepreneur with more than 10 years of experience. There we go. Are you all ready for Dr. Javnyuy Joybert? Welcome on board, Doc. We're glad to have you on the program today.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
All right. So, how is Monday? How is the side of business? How is family? How is it going?
Everything
The and
is
we
going
all when I
well.
read so okay now.
Everything is going on well. God is faithful. Life is one step at a time, one goal at a time.
Okay. Of course, the inspiration has started already. Life is one step at a time, so there's no point to rush. Okay, hope you got that rightly. So, beautiful people, of course, you are on to inspire. Please do share the life. And today we're talking something serious. We're talking business. What's life without business? What's life without money? So, Dr. Jaffney is here to tell us all what we need to know as far as excelling in entrepreneur is concerned. And please don't forget that Inspire is on Inspire, we do inspire ourselves, we do motivate ourselves to make informed choices of life and to make informed decision, and we get to share in the experiences and success stories of others. So today we are opportune to have one of the best as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, not just in Cameroon, but then across Africa and in the international community. So he will be sharing with us his success story, his experiences, his expertise as far as business is concerned. So, Miss Dr. Javnyuy, let's get started with they say business before pleasure. Let's get started with business. Yeah. So from research, you've been into business for 10 years. Yeah, for 10 years. So how did you get into entrepreneurship? How did this whole thing got started? Did you just sleep and did you see a vision? Or like how did you get started? Beginning is always so difficult. Let's
Uh,
get started from there.
well, I think that when you come from a certain background or family, certain things just get inserted into your lifestyle and into your culture and all of that. Very early on, at a very young age, I remember my mom used to fry pop-off, and I used to carry it on my head and I sell. And I left the village, and then we moved to Kumbu town. And while in secondary school, I was one of those guys who used to buy biscuit and sell in class, and teachers would be catching us and beating for selling in class, selling biscuits, selling sweets and um, chewing gum and all this kind of stuff. And during holidays, sometimes there was a time I sold watermelon. I sold, just hustling. Um, then in the process of all of that, I was just a hustler. And again, as I said, there are certain families that when you come from, sometimes people get into business not out of choice, but that's the only option that you have. If you don't hustle, you have nothing to live for per se, or you cannot help your family or even support yourself. And yeah, when I was done with high school, I'm from a single mom, so my mom could not afford my university education. So I started partly sponsoring myself, basically from high school per se. And how can you do that except you're not in business or you're not hustling and all of that? So after that, I just continued into doing odd jobs and buying and selling here and there. That's how I sponsored myself from my undergraduate level to MBA, doctorate degree. But after my undergraduate, I started getting into the corporate landscape of the world. But I've always had passion for training and for teaching and for this kind of stuff. But my main desires have always been into business. So even in secondary school, right in Form 1, I started doing accounting and economics, commerce and finance, all those type of subjects. And in undergraduate, I did financial management. I did MBA, Masters in Business Administration. So that passion around business was always there right from the beginning. And that is how I found myself into this. But long before, in the early years, we didn't know anything about entrepreneurship and innovation and creativity. It was not as sexy as it is right now. Let me say so. But here we are. So yeah, that's the journey. There was some passion and interest, and of course, life brought us into doing all of that. Yeah.
Wow. Um that's just so inspirational. And let's get to welcome those joining us. Then we'll continue with the live session. Sandra Free, thanks for joining. Jume Samuel, thanks for joining. Please do share the live so we get others inspired. Just as he said, hope you're already getting inspired. You know, his background motivated him or inspired his entrepreneurial lifestyle so far. So, and he said due to his background too, he had to, you know, hustle after his high school in order to get himself sponsored at the level of the university. Most of us have dropped out of school because we are like, we don't have money, we don't have sponsors. Come on, this is somebody who was able to sponsor himself through petty businesses. So if you are watching us and you are one of those who think you must need a father or you must need a mother to gain education, hope you're already getting a change of mentality. All right, so Dr. Javnyuy, did your background as a petty business, you know, like did it influence your choice of career at the level of the university?
Yeah. I have always had passion for, you know, what they call commercial education. I've always loved accounting, um, commerce, economics, those kind of subjects. So I knew that I was going to. My original goal and career in life was to be a banker. That was my original primary goal, was to end up in the banking profession. That was my primary goal, but still related into business. And I was actually on my path to being that, because my first job that I got after my undergraduate in financial management was in a microfinance, and I was on my path to being a banker per se. But I later resigned from that job to get into entrepreneurship and start business and get into what I do today. So it was early on that, I was groomed for the business world. So everything I've studied all my life is basically business, because secondary school, I chose commercial education, accounting, commerce, economics. High school, I did four subjects: accounting, marketing, business management, and business maths. Undergraduate, I did financial management. I did MBA and masters. Then my doctorate, I did in entrepreneurship and investment. So all my life I've studied under business. So I've always knew that my path was in this particular sector. But then as we begin to grow, vision is not stagnant. Vision is progressive. That's why your vision 10 years ago is not the same vision today. Because when you get more exposed to new ideas and meet new people and even make more money and even become much better in experience, you begin to see that, oh, I can improve this, I can make this better. But many a times the purpose remains the same, the overall vision remains the same, but the strategies can change, the goals can change, the methods can change, but you're aiming for that particular path. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we have a couple of youths who equally did business management, they did accounting, like they have this business background, yet they're lagging behind as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. Some of them complain of money, and so how were you able, because from research, you're a CEO with over 17 employees. So how were you able to raise money to start up this business? Yeah, because you're not just, there are a lot of graduates with business background, yet they don't
Yeah.
own a company, they don't. Yeah, so share with us your story, your experience. How did you raise this money? Is it while you were in school? Is it after school? Like, what did you do? You just told us you were single-handedly raised up by your mother, like, so we understand how challenging that could be. So where did you get the money to, just blow?
This is the biggest misconception in entrepreneurship, that money is the main thing that you need to start a business. And I've always said this, and sometimes when I say it, I get controversial. But if anybody listening to me and you want to start a business and money is the main thing you have not started, it means you are not ready to be an entrepreneur. Majority
What
of
do you mean?
entrepreneurs, money is important, yes, but if it is the only thing stopping you from starting a business, then you are not ready to be an entrepreneur.
So
Now,
are you saying there's
what
something
do I
much more
mean?
important than money when
It
it
takes,
comes to starting up a business?
takes more than money to start a business.
Oh,
It takes
wow.
more than money to start a business. And to add, I've always also said that if you need external money to start a business, you're going to fail. You need external money to grow a business. You don't need external money to start a business. If you cannot find money on your own to start that idea, to test it, to validate it before you can take money, you're going to fail. I've been coaching for more than 10 years, and I've met many people who have been into debt because they had an idea and they just jumped to borrow money from a friend, family. Some even went to banks and they got the money as a loan, and the idea failed. The business failed and they now have loans to pay. So they're in double depression from failure in business and how to pay back the loans. You see? So many people think that the first thing to do when you start a business is to look for money. That is lack of resourcefulness. And I've always said that if you see anybody who lacks resources, they lack resourcefulness, because it is resourcefulness that leads to resources. So when you want to start a business, the primary thing is how can you start small, validate your idea, and then you scale it, because you're on a safer path of life when you borrow money to finance what you have tested and what you are sure and what you have failed in and where you have succeeded. So if you want to start a business, if you cannot save from any income that you have to start that business, and if you don't have any source of income, if you cannot look within you and find out yourself what skills, what do you have inside of you that you can monetize and raise money and start something very small. And here's one challenge again: many people want to start business from the top. And I want to challenge everybody: go and read the biography or the starting process of the top most valuable companies in the world now. You'll see that none of them started in an office, none of them started at the top. Either they started in a garage, in a dorm room, in a friend's house, in a mother's kitchen. They started somewhere, because even though they had money and they had investors, they will always make sure they validate the idea first. That's why one of the most important part of starting a business is idea validation and using a prototype and testing to be sure that the path you're taking is actually a profitable path. You see, so many people need to, the goal is how do you become more resourceful to find the startup capital you need. And you don't need much. You just need the capital that you can validate and prove that your idea is market worthy. Your idea is will solve the customer's pain point, and most importantly, your customers have the money to pay for that idea. When you do that, if you reach out now to, let's say, a bank or a friend and all of that, give you an example.
Okay.
Let me use an example. Let's say John and Peter comes to you
Mm-hmm.
that they want you to help them. You guys, the diaspora, many Cameroonians come to you inbox and ask for money for startup and all of that. And many of you can actually help, because $100 in the US is just $100. Back home is startup capital for many people, which is true, because I have helped many people start businesses with 100,000, with 100,000, 200,000,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. But let me give an example, and you see why many people fail to start. Peter and John from Cameroon come to you and say, "Oh, I see you talk about inspiration. I see you help people. I want to start a business." And Peter tells you that, "Oh, I have this nice idea that I really want to start. All I need is a 100,000 francs and I'm good to go." And you say, "You know what? 100,000 francs is not, I can give you $200 and you're good to go. It will cost me nothing, but I will happy to help your vision." Now, John comes and tell you that, "Oh, ma'am, there's this business idea I have. In the last 3 months, I did research and I discovered that people in this area need this. And I used 7,500 and I bought this and I bought this and I tried to produce this, although it was not in the best capacity, but I produced 10 units of this that I wanted to sell. I went out door to door and I sold seven and three were left. Out of these seven, I got these two complaints and I corrected. And out of the sales, I made 5,000 francs and this is the balance left. Now I need just 100,000 francs to improve this and scale it. And I can guarantee you that I can even repay you back the money in 6 months. Who will you pay? Who will you support?"
Yeah.
But
Of
you see
course,
the difference.
the one who has already started something and is seeing result and
Exactly.
is seeing prospects in the,
Exactly.
yeah.
But the most important thing is that he was resourceful to find even 7,500 to start
Mm-hmm.
that idea and to validate it. You see, he did not focus on looking for, he did not focus on sitting and saying, oh, I cannot start a business because I don't have 100,000 francs. He did not do that. But he was resourceful enough to say, okay, I need to start a business. Yes, my capital that I need to start this business at this standard level is 100,000 francs, but I don't have it now. But how can I start a small piece of that business in a way that I can validate the idea? You know, I always say that anybody can get help, but many people don't know how to beg. Many people, as long as simple as begging may seem, many people don't know how to beg. There's a way you can beg that if somebody cannot help you, they'll be angry at themselves for not helping you.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
It's
Oh, for learn
possible.
how for Beko,
Right?
doctor.
Because yeah, and there's a lot of money out there. Like right now,
Yeah, but I had you.
I'm
Yeah,
into investment. Look, there's more money now to invest in business than it used to be 10, 20 years ago. I know people that have billions and millions to invest in good businesses. Do you know that the major challenge? They don't see good entrepreneurs and good ideas that have been validated to invest in. They don't see it. That's the biggest challenge. The challenge is not the money. The money is there.
but I had.
The challenge is
Yeah.
the entrepreneurs are not available to do that. Why? Because majority of investors, venture capitalists, and all these people, they're looking for people that are worth the investment and are able to do their part, take the responsibility, and take the first step. That's why I said earlier on that if you have a business idea and you have not started, it means you are not ready to be an entrepreneur. One thing that you lack is that resourcefulness and that personal responsibility to do that.
Oh, wow. Who else is shocked? Who else is shocked? Yeah, because I'm asking so because when you ask somebody, I don't get money for start business. I don't get money for start business. I don't get money. You just heard from the doctor himself, doctor of business. He's been into this thing for more than 10 years. You don't need so money is not all what you need. There's a lot. It goes beyond that. Of course, he said you need to um you need to have a test of your product or have a test of the idea you want to
Mhm.
sell to the public.
Yeah.
And of course, don't say because we have a lot of startup companies that they are shutting down because of money. So
Mhm.
perhaps you need to re-strategize on your idea and what have you.
Mhm.
Okay, doctor, starting up a business, let's say I have this business idea and I have it tested already and I have it started already. How do I get to grow this business? That's where we face a lot of challenges. You may have a beautiful idea, and
Mhm.
at the beginning, you just get lost about maybe some small benefits you start making. You get
Yeah.
overwhelmed you get excited, and before you wake up tomorrow morning, everything is down. So, how do you get to manage a
Yeah.
business? Yeah.
It's a business growth is very easy at the same time very hard. Now, for people that know certain things, it becomes very easy. And for people that are ignorant of certain things, it becomes very hard. That is why, like in Africa, even in the US, I've been in the US on and off, and I've seen so many small businesses be in the same place for so long. Same thing in Europe and in Africa. The challenge is not because those businesses cannot grow. The challenge is the people who started those businesses don't have what it takes to grow. Now, and secondly, and most people also think that for me to grow a business to the next level, I need a lot of money too. But however, there are other things that if you don't have in place, no matter how much money you receive or you get, that growth will not happen. And the first thing I'll talk about in scaling a business or business growth is mindset. Because there is no way you can ever grow your business beyond the quality of your mindset. There are people that they run businesses right now, the very business that they see, they don't believe that that business right now can someday be $100 million or 100 million francs business. Their mindset has not comprehended that. In short, their mindset they have never thought about that. So they don't even have a year. For example, if you're a serious business person and you think long term about your business, one of the things that you can truly do is you can set goals. Say, look, by 2030, this business will be a $200 million business, recruiting 3,000 people and doing this and doing that. That alone will shift your mindset. But many people have never looked at their business at that particular perspective. So
Wow.
many people have remained small for so long, 5 years, 7 years in business, and they're still being called small business. When will they become big? Because their mindset is not positioned or engineered in a way that can accommodate or engineer that particular growth. You see, that is why every entrepreneur needs what they call growth mindset. Because until you develop a growth mindset, you will not take growth oriented actions that can influence your business. The second thing, which is like the most critical foundation, is in this is skill sets. Now, I always say that if you want to go to the next level financially, get the knowledge and the skills that the next level requires. For example, if right now, and this goes to even those who are not in business, even those who are working professionals, if right now your yearly income or monthly income, let's just say, is $100,000, or let's say for those who are in Cameroon, let's assume it's 5 million francs, and that's our monthly income. If you want to scale your monthly income, one of the fastest way to do that is acquire the skills and the knowledge that your next income level requires. Because money is a byproduct. Money is always a byproduct. Money is never the product itself. It's always a byproduct. It always comes out
From
of something. It
mhm.
comes out of your rising in terms of mental intelligence. It comes out in terms of your rising in terms of skills. It comes out from your growth in terms of industry knowledge. It comes out in terms of your level of influence in the society. It stems out from that particular level. It comes out as a result of your growth in networking or the people that you serve. So money is always a byproduct. So going back to skills and business growth, there are many people that they are not able to scale their business because they don't have the marketing skills to acquire more new customers that can buy more product, leading to more sales and more business growth. Because what is business growth if more people cannot know about your business and more people are not buying from you? Number two is the lack of human resource skills, because many people don't even know how to recruit more people that can come into the business and use their own experience and skills to skyrocket that business. There is no great company. Look at every great company around the world right now. They have thousands and thousands of employees. Why? Because every great company is developed and built by great people. So many people don't have that human resource skills of recruiting and getting new people on board that can bring that extra vibe and ideas and innovation to grow that particular business. The next thing in this dispensation is technology. You cannot talk about business growth in this dispensation if you don't understand what are the various technological platforms and tools that you can use to leverage and grow your business faster and get to more markets. And the next thing talks about market expansion itself. That intentionality of just venturing into new markets, making up your mind that how can I go to a new town? How can I do paid ads and promote beyond family and friends? You see, there are many people complaining that my business is not great, it's not great, it's not great. Meanwhile, the only people are patronizing them are family, friends,
Family men.
colleagues, and church members and village people. Outside of that, there's nobody else that is buying from them. But any company you see making a lot of money, any entrepreneur making a lot of money, one thing that they have mastered is getting more strangers buy from them. So until you can get more strangers buy from you and as many people as much as possible, you will not scale your business. So, and all of this comes down to the foundation of skill. If you see, it's the same, we're talking about money. When I see somebody who runs a business and needs money to scale up that business and they don't have them, it's not because the money is not there. There's a lot of money out there. There are so many investment funds and individuals who want to invest in businesses. Your problem is you lack investment sourcing or resource mobilization skill. Every problem in business always falls back to lack of skills. If you are not selling, you don't have marketing and sales skills. If you don't have employees staying with you, you don't have human resource skills. If you don't, if you are not using technology in your business, you lack the right technological skills to grow that business. So it always falls back to this foundation of skills. So many people need to always be on that journey of doing skills gap analysis to understand what gap do I need to fill with new types of skills so that I can begin to build and expand my business. And this is where every business owner becomes a lifelong learner. You never graduate in this particular case. You That's why if I was talking to some global entrepreneurs forgotten the country, and I said, if you have been in business and a year passes and you have not taken a course as an entrepreneur, then something is wrong with you. Number two, you don't buy at least one book to read in an area where you need to grow that year, then something is wrong with you. Because in business, business people read more than any group of people actually, because it's a very volatile society, volatile economy. So a lot is changing. So the more expert knowledge and information you have, the more you will be ahead of the society and of the economy and all of that. And one great businessman once said, in business, you need to find where the world is going, get there first, and let others pay you to get there.
Oh wow. Who else is gaining a lot of inspiration? Who else is getting motivated? Who else feels like, okay, after today, my business is going to take a different level? Please, if you feel this way, then do share the life. Don't benefit alone, okay? Get to share the life. Mboshi, Kendria, I see you. Eta, Maria, I see you. Gabila Collins, thanks for joining the live. Of course, if it's your first time on Inspire, you're so very much welcome here. We talk education, entertainment, inspiration, most especially, we get motivated. What's life without motivation? Without motivation, you cannot really push yourself. You cannot go about doing your day-to-day activities. And if you've been wondering why your business is not working, if you've been wondering why your business has been so stagnant, perhaps you might want to check on your resources available and the resources you get to utilize. Do you have the right human resources? Are you adapting to the changing times? Are you adapting to the times? Like, how is your mindset? A lot of us get defeated even before we get started. And like I always say, the mindset, is like the vehicle, the fuel in the car that gets to drive the body. So if you're already defeated, Dr. Javnyuy said you need to check your mindset before starting a business. Like, have a positive mindset. Don't go into business with just go try, see as it go. Okay, so of course, today we are talking excelling in entrepreneurship. And for those of you who always like you're fond of the show, you always know I don't do the interview alone. Like I always say, I'm just coordinating, and I can see I picked out a question already that I will throw now on Dr. Jaffney before I get to forget. So please, you can do like a tamari, okay? If you have any concerns as far as the topic of discussion is concerned, please do raise it up in the comment section. If you have any worries, any doubt, anything that falls in line with today's talking point, raise it up at the comment section. And of course, Dr. Jaffney is here to answer us today for free. Like I said, for free. He's a consultant. Others pay to gain this knowledge. Okay, so Marie was asking, I think I jotted the question. Marie was asking that because you said from the beginning that you don't really need money to start a business, like it's not the first thing you need. So she was asking that, how do I start a business without a penny? Or is it that you don't really need money at all? Or like, I think Marie needs clarification. Maybe Marie wants to start a business tomorrow after the shows, but then
What
she has no penny, like 5 francs or no day. Doctor, now I go handle the one.
has she done the things that we said? That's the same question we're answering, right? The things that we said, she should go and do them first. She should go. For example, if you start talking to her right now, okay, uh, you're complaining about the penny. Okay, the idea you want to start. Have you done your research? Do you have your startup action plan? Do you have a budget? Do you have? And there was a young lady I was coaching one time. I went to a restaurant to eat, and she brought I wanted a business and all of that. Hey, one of the things that we did, I told her, I asked her these questions. She just had the idea in her mind. She has done nothing with the idea, but she was already complaining that she doesn't have any money about it. I said, okay, have you written anything about the idea? Nothing. any research, nothing. So how do you feel that? Because people just assume, please, the most dangerous thing in business is guesswork. Never assume that an idea in your head will make money. An idea that you have not researched, you have not validated, and you have not done some concrete work in the field is not going to make you money in any way. You'll be surprised when you launch that idea and you notice that nobody's buying what you're selling, or you notice that what you're selling is not making sense, right? So I spoke with this lady and I said, okay, let's do something. And now ask her, this business you want to start, I want you to list all the things you want to start with this business, and then list the amounts you need for each thing to start the business. She didn't have the information. So there are even people even guessing, people say, I don't have a penny, but you know, ask her exactly how much do you need to start the business. She cannot tell you. So that's why I said it's not about money. Money is important on the list, but it's not the first thing. It's not. So people depend on that, hang on that, and then they never do anything with their lives because they feel they don't have the money. But there are things that when you start doing, you will notice that you don't even need that much money to start at the beginning. Again, as I also said, if you don't have a penny, find it. That's your job to find it. As I said, many people don't start a business because they are not resourceful. Use your head and find it. What do you have what do you have in you as knowledge, as a skill, or anything that you can do? You have time. If you're unemployed and you don't have a business, you have time. How can you monetize your time and raise capital and start small? Find it. That's your job. How can you be more resourceful? There's a young guy now in Douala that um, he now runs his own electronic shop. When he came to me, I said, okay, you have time, you have a phone. Do you know anybody who has a store? He said, yes. Go talk to that person. Get the things that he sells, snaps them, come and post on Facebook, post on your status, create a WhatsApp group, and begin to sell. When people buy, you go get delivered, charge delivery free, charge commission, and pay. 4 months after, he set the full shop. And more than 80% of the things in that shop, he went and borrowed from these people and put there, and then he sells and go give them back the money, and he does that. Did he need capital? No capital. So it's just resourcefulness that is stopping people from doing that, right? Going back to the lady I was talking about, she sat in that restaurant. I said, okay, list down the things you need. Then I asked her a funny question. Out of some of these things, remove the ones that are not needed right now at this critical stage. Because when you are surviving, some things are not needed. People try to add things just based on how they feel. And then the second step, I asked her, out of these things, which ones can you beg? You know, you cannot start a business and you have pride at the same time. There are so many proud, poor, broke people across Africa. You cannot be broke and proud at the same time. Two dangerous combinations to have. When you are at the startup stage, at the survival stage, it's okay to beg. I call it corporate begging. It's okay to beg. You understand? I told this
Yeah.
lady, I told her on her list, what do you, out of this list of things you have needed, what can you beg from family, friends, your family members, your church sisters and brothers? What can you beg? Even the rent that she wanted to pay, she ended up using a part around the church to start selling there for free. The pastor gave her for free, and that way she started her business. But that was rent. Now she now wrote and write maybe 100,000 francs as rent. But she ended up getting a space for free, and she started. And she had to drop down from her horse and be comfortable and starting outside and standing beside the church and standing there and selling. Because as I said, you cannot be proud at the same time. Let your ego cover you when you're broke and you have no money. So it goes back to that resourcefulness. It goes back to that wrong mindset and that lack of information, or just being able to get your hands dirty, and that inability to start small, and move forward one step at a time. I know guys that started their businesses after going to say, you know what, I'm going to work in building construction sites and save money for 2 months, 3 months, and use that and start small. I know guys who have done that. You see, it's just about many people. It is that the generation now. Many people don't know this when they see me on TV, BBC, Voice of America. I've traveled different countries. They feel that I came from a good home. I was talking one time. So wait, you've done Okada? I've done Okada. There was a time, but when I was doing 3 jobs. In the morning period, I go and do what they call decking. You go and work in building construction sites, and you deck and you
Mm-hmm.
build bricks and all of that, and they pay 1,525. You save. In the afternoon, I go to the car wash. If you have been in Bamenda Old Town, public security, there's a car wash that they use the river to wash cars and bikes. I will go there and wash bikes and all of that. In the evening, I'll get a bag from a friend and do what they call seku. That's why I paid my fees in university. You see, it's so many people don't know, don't want to, uh, um, be very resourceful. They are very comfortable right now in this. Many young people are very comfortable, and as I always say, right now with the coming of social media and internet penetration, it is faster now to be more successful as a young person than it was 10 years ago. There are more platforms and resources now than there used to be, but the challenge is many people want handouts. Many people are entitled. You see, so it's keeping them behind from taking advantage of what is available. Look, I always tell young people, nobody's coming to help you. Live your life as if no help is coming. Forget your mom, forget your dad, forget your uncles, forget your aunties, forget anybody. If nobody helps you, praise God. If you start doing stuff and somebody helps you, praise God.
Praise God.
You're fine. And when you take life like that and take that responsibility, that business will get off the ground and you will not really need anybody at the end. So it goes back to that resourcefulness. Find what you have and take any of this, and you'll be able to start a business less than no time.
Oh, wow. Wow, this is enough motivation to take us through 2024. Okay, so Etam, I really hope you are now satisfied, and of course, you are clarified as far as your question is concerned. Okay, for those of you joining us, we are talking excelling as an entrepreneur, and with me is Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, a life coach, a business consultant, a trainer, and of course, an entrepreneur with more than 10 years experience. So, Eta Marie, if you need more information, perhaps at the end of the program, I will beg Doctor to leave us his email, so those interested for further coaching or consultancy, you can reach him via his email. For now, let's get to find out about difficulties you what are some of the difficulties you encountered from the beginning of your entrepreneurial um, life.
Difficulties will always be there, in any phase of life. Difficulties will always be there. And this one thing I always like to say, because sometimes many people feel, you know, as if there's a level you get, difficulties are no longer there. Dangote has difficulties. Elon Musk has difficulties. Just that the difficulties are in different levels now.
Mhm.
For somebody right now, his or her difficulty maybe that she cannot pay transport and go to a particular location or pay house rent. Dangote's difficulty may now be, how can I fly my private jet from Lagos to New York? Right? Those are difficulties in different levels. So, at the beginning, many a times the lack of, because the knowledge and the skills I have now, I didn't used to have 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Mhm.
So that inadequate information and knowledge and ideas, definitely, because the most the biggest challenge and the worst thing that can happen to anybody in the journey of success is ignorance.
Mm.
Ignorance can keep somebody in the same spot for 10 years. I have met I have met many people that have been in business for 15 years, 20 years, and they have never made 1 million a month. And I work with them for 2, 3 months and they make their first 5 million in business. Like,
Oh,
what was
wow.
it possible? Right? Because it was not because village people were fighting them. It was because they didn't know exactly what to do and how to do it. Right? So, and this is the foundation of every other difficulty in every journey. When you have inadequate knowledge and information and skills, you will always have a lot of difficulties, because everything depends on light. And God even, expressed this in the book of creation. The first thing that God created was light, right? Because until you have knowledge and information, you will not know exactly what to do and how to do it. So that inadequate information and knowledge definitely created a lot of boundaries. And the second thing is, many a times at the beginning, at the early days, nobody believes you, nobody's trusting you, nobody sees that what you're doing is necessary. And this is one of the major reasons why, across Africa, we find it difficult for people to consume home products, because in our culture we don't trust our own. In our culture we don't endorse our own. We easily desire to support outsiders or external people or things from out of the country than the local people, right? But that lack of support internally or within the community, or people not trusting you, is a big challenge. So you need to work extra harder to build that credibility and that trust for people to trust you and also invest in you. That goes into the process. Now, many people will talk about financial challenges, but I also say that financial challenge comes again on the back end of ignorance, because when you're very ignorant of certain things about money, you will always be in financial difficulties. So if you are ignorant on how to make money, how to keep money, and how to multiply money, you always have money problems. Number four, if you are ignorant on how to do resource mobilization, you will always have money problem. The problem is that money is not available. There's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of money. The day I learn how money works and how investment works, if I want to raise millions now, I can raise it, right? But because I know what to do and when to do that. But many people don't know how to do this, or they don't have the money to scale because they don't know how to do it. So when talking about money challenges, I always go and emphasize on the point of ignorance, on the point of lack of knowledge, on the point of people not knowing what to do and how to do it in terms of money. Because when it can become a huge task if money is not there at all, that's when it becomes, but it's there. But the point is, we don't know how to reach
How
it,
to.
right? And it goes same to, for example, I was talking about skill, and I spoke about marketing. I was talking to some entrepreneurs and I said, all the money you're looking for in business, all the money we're looking for in business is in somebody's pocket or bank account. All the money you're looking for right now is somewhere in somebody's pocket or bank account. But the challenge is, if your marketing is not good enough and your sales not good enough for you to influence them to get your value and give you their money, you will never see that money. You will never see it. It goes same to those who are looking for investors. There are millions and millions investors who have billions in their bank account, investment firms looking for good ideas to invest in and back them. But however, you will never get access to that money if you don't know how to reach out to the investors and how to communicate with them and in you and do that business with you. So these challenges will always be there for some in Africa. For us, government also comes in, the hostile environment in terms of uh, um, uh, corruption and bribery and poor governance. All of these also contribute greatly to the kind of the challenges that we face when we are building businesses. However, if you are in Africa or in any of these African countries, it's our responsibilities as entrepreneurs to know our countries and begin to maneuver these challenges, because you will not just stop living your dreams or trying to build your business because challenges are there and the government is doing nothing. A good entrepreneur finds a way to live with the challenges and live above the challenges if they can, or find more ways to substitute and adapt as much as possible, right? Because they will always be there. um Taxation, people talk about taxation, but I want to talk about taxation from two main perspectives. Number one, many people go through the challenges of taxation because of ignorance as far as taxation is concerned. For example, in business, I have seen many business people paying taxes for what they're not supposed to pay taxes for, because they're in business and they have not done their own research to find out, in my kind of business, what type of taxes am I supposed to pay on a yearly basis, and how am I supposed to calculate these taxes? They don't have that information. So ignorance, the taxation department in any country, especially in Africa, thrives on corruption based on the ignorance of the people. the more ignorant you are about the tax code and about the taxes you're supposed to pay, it makes you to become a prey for the taxation department in your area to be very corrupt and to inflate your taxes. And when you pay more, they take part and then pay part to the treasury, and you have no idea, but you feel as if you're paying a lot of taxes. So doing that information and having that research data is important for you and in this journey. And again, as I said, in business entrepreneurship, you one thing that you need to learn and grow in is being consistently ready to deal with challenges, because every day you wake up, challenges will knock at your door. In entrepreneurship, there's no day where you just feel as if I have arrived and there are no challenges. No, but anybody you see thriving on a daily basis, they have the growth mindset, they have the resilient mindset, and they have the adaptable mindset. With these three types of mindset, no matter what comes your way, you fend it off, you solve the problem, and you move forward. And you make up your mind that when problems come your way, you eat the problems for breakfast, and your business keeps going forward. Hello? I think we lost our host. All right. Let me see while we wait for our host if there's any question. Okay. There's a question here. What's the best investment a young person can get into if they don't want to set up businesses on their own? There is this talk about invest. Please throw more light on this. Absolutely. Um, Depending on where you are, the investment talk can be different. For people who are in North America and in Europe and in the Middle East, their economies and their systems are more structured where they can easily invest, right? So there are many legal long-term platforms. For example, for those who are in America with Cash App, you can buy stock and shares from different companies in America: Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp. So it is much decentralized in developed economies. Now, in Africa, we have heard stories over the years, in the last 10 years specifically, of people investing in funny investment schemes, and they end up being pyramid schemes and they lose all their money. The challenge in Africa is we don't yet have a structured economy. And a structured economy makes it difficult for people to have access to structured businesses where they can invest their money and get dividends at the end of the year or every trading period. However, from my experience and what we have done with other people, the main difference or the main thing that can happen in Africa for those who want to invest is being able to identify, sustainable, growing small businesses where the founders or the managers are willing to accept external partners and have them invest money and maybe get equity or do what they call debt investment. You give them money and then they give you interest on that money at the end of the trading period or the year. That's the best thing that is working right now in Africa, because since we don't yet have publicly traded companies and good platforms that are trustworthy in many African countries, especially Cameroon, it becomes very difficult. But the model that is working now is your ability to find these small businesses who are also looking for financial partners. And you, from your assessments and from your research, as I always advise, it's good to invest in a small business that has been in operation for more than 5 years or 5 years and above. That way, it makes it easy for you to also know that it becomes easy for you to easily, adapt to that particular area. Okay, so our host is having a problem. I think you just need to go back on your page and click on the live video, it will give you the option to just join back as a host. Try that. Let's see. Since I am not the admin on the page, I cannot even invite you back. Okay. So, as I was explaining, that's the best thing that can happen right now um, in Africa. So if you're in Cameroon and you want to invest, you can do some research and find those businesses. As a business trainer, we try to research those kind of SMEs that are ready for investment, and we connect them to people that want to invest, right? Because there are very good businesses around, very good SMEs around the economy that are doing very well, and they want to scale, but they don't have the capital to scale, and they need financial partners to scale. And the best way to do that is to bring them together, create a good agreement, create a good partnership, legalize it, and all of that. And they get into business, and there are people who have been earning good dividends from these kinds of deals. But you see any of those ideas that say invest this and get 40% of your investment after 1 month and all of that is a pyramid scheme, and it never ends well. It never ends well. I always give people, if you see any investment and they tell you that invest this and we guarantee you, and you see anything more than 10% and above every month, be careful. It's a potential scam. There is no business that is very profitable that they can guarantee you. You know, there's a level that when a person guarantees you sure profitability, you should also be worried, because business is volatile. Anything can happen in business. But when somebody sounds so very confident, right, it leads to a lot of challenges in that particular area. I hope I answered the question. I think we'll stop the show and do that. Yes.